back on Zoom. Well, I guess we could say thank God at least that we're back, but we're not in lockdown. So it's good that sorry, we just keep hearing beeping. It's really good to be in the kitchen and baking for Purim. So some of you I know that already made Hamantaschen, but if you haven't, and if you want to learn a new recipe, well, we are going to make delicious Hamantaschen tonight. So there's different ways to make it, but we're going to make like a cookie dough style, and you could fill it with all different types of filling. You could fill it with jam or chocolate spread or poppy seed or even prunes. So it really depends on what kind of what taste you like. So the first thing I want you guys to do is preheat your oven to 170 fan force or 175 regular. So if you could do that now, if you're doing it, so we're going to do that now. Turning my oven on, it is going to 170. And make sure that you have a really nice cookie dough, a cookie pan and baking paper, or if not, you could grease it with some oil, okay? So I am going to be doing 2 of these. The recipe is called for, I think, about 48, but we will see tonight because you can make them medium or small. Okay, putting them over here on the side. So we are getting ready. The first thing we need is we are going to mix our eggs and sugar together. Okay, so 4 eggs. Okay, here's my cup, my glass cup, just to check to make sure there's no blood spots. Okay, so I'm going to do that first. I'm going to check my eggs. Okay, so 4 eggs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so you could either get an egg beater out or a mix master, whatever you'd like. I'm going to just use the egg beater. So I'm going to first beat the eggs. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just going to do it for 20 seconds. And then once this is done, then we are going to add the sugar. So someone asked about caster sugar. It's better to use just regular sugar. You can't use caster sugar, but the regular sugar will hold it better. Okay, so there we go. I did my eggs. Now I'm going to put the sugar in. So see regular white sugar, and I'm going to put a cup. So let's measure a cup inside. Here we go. Didn't smell anything. It's okay. It's just sugar. It tastes good. So now what we're going to do is you're going to take your egg beater and you're going to mix the sugar and the egg together. Okay. So probably mix it for about a minute. Okay. Can you see that? It's a nice light color yellow. And looks really good.
Any questions, post in the chat.
If there's any questions, post on the chat, okay? So here we go. So we mix our 1 cup of sugar and our 4 eggs. Okay. There we go. Now it's nicely mixed. And now we are going to be putting our flour in, okay? So here's the flour. Plain flour, you could use, this one's triple sifted and unbleached. Some people like to sift their flour, make it more fluffier. I'm not gonna do that, I'm just gonna put it straight in. And we're going to be putting 4 cups of flour. 5 cups of flour, okay? So we're gonna try to measure it as best as we can because we don't want to put too much flour in. Okay, so I'm going to change my cups because these cups are not the best. These are better for measuring. Okay, So here's my nice pink cup. And I am putting 5 cups of flour. You could use like a nice bread flour.
Can you use gluten-free or not?
You can use gluten-free. We actually baked with the bat mitzvah girls on Monday. We made Hamantaschen, and we actually used gluten-free flour. And it actually worked really well. So, and it tasted nicely too, but I would probably do half the recipe. Okay. So we did 3. Sarah, just make sure that 4. And 5. Okay. So for those people, just to recap, we put in 4 eggs, mixed it together with the sugar, 1 cup of sugar, and we put 5 cups of flour. Now we're going to be putting the rest of the dry ingredients, which is salt. So let me just get my measuring, and it's just half a teaspoon of salt. And give me 1 second. Okay. So yeah, so we're gonna put half a teaspoon of salt. Okay. And then here we go on the top. And then we are going to be putting our baking powder. So 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Here we go. So here's 1 and 2. And then, so we just put all the dry ingredients on the top. And then we're going to be putting the oil and the lemon juice and the vanilla. Okay, so let's put the oil first. So the oil is a half a cup of oil. Okay, so here's the oil. This is sunflower oil. You can use vegetable oil, sunflower canola. I'm just using sunflower oil just because that's the oil I have in my cup right now. So I'm going to put that in. As long as it's, and also if you want to use olive oil, just make sure you don't use extra virgin, because extra virgin gives it like a really olivey taste and it doesn't taste nice. Okay, so that's that. And then we're going to put vanilla essence or vanilla powder. It's called vanilla pure. And it's 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, so let's do that. Teaspoon of vanilla. Vanilla, always love the smell of vanilla. It tastes really nice, gives it just an extra kick. And then we are going to be putting in the lemon juice. Now you could just squeeze in. I'm just using a lemon squeezer so that we try not to get the pips in. So it says 1 full lemon, okay? So take the lemon and squeeze it into our mixing bowl. And I do see some pips in there anyways. I didn't really catch them all, but it's okay. At least we tried. Just taking out one of them. Sometimes it's hard that the pips do tend to go in, but if you could try to avoid it, it's always good. And freshly squeezed lemon is perfect, but again, you can use lemon juice if you want to. That also works. It just fresh is always, it gives it like a nicer taste to it. Okay. Now we're up to the best part. We're going to mix it.
About the lemon grind, that's it.
Huh? So lemon rind. Someone asked about lemon rind. Okay, so if you look over here, the recipe, this one is lemon juice. But if you do want to do with lemon rind, you can use it. That's also a good option. But I prefer using lemon juice because it's not as citrusy. Like lemon rind gives it more of that. It's more intense. So if you don't want it so intense, you would use a lemon juice. Okay, so now take a mixer. I'm going to mix it with our nice wooden spoon. Okay, so for those people who just came on, let's just recap what we did. So we started off by mixing the eggs with the sugar. Okay, so 4 eggs, 1 cup of sugar. We added 5 cups of flour. We put in a teaspoon of baking powder. We put in half a cup of oil. We put in a little bit of salt, you can say there, but I like to add a bit of salt just to bring up the sugar. A teaspoon of vanilla extract, and we put in a full lemon.
Half a lemon.
No, that says one full lemon.
Oh, you did a whole lemon?
Yeah. It says one lemon, okay? And someone asked about lemon rind, I said you can use it, but just, it's more intense. So now I'm taking this mix there, and I'm gonna mix it with a nice wooden spoon. You can use a mix master if you like. It's definitely a lot better to do that.
Here's your mix.
What?
Here's
I'm
your-
using this because I'm going to use my hands, okay? So I'm going to use my hands. Okay. I like to use my hands because I feel like I like to feel the dough just to make sure the consistency is good. Okay. So we want it to be sort of like a cookie dough style, okay? Because the thing is that I know someone before asked, she said that her dough crumbled. Now we got to just make sure that when you do it in the right order, because when it's in the right order, it won't crumble, okay? So if you look at this dough, punching it down a bit more, can you see that? So look at that. It's like nice spongy sort of style. It goes down, it goes up. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we are going to take a rolling pin, roll it out, put some cups around, and then we're gonna fill it. Okay, so I'm just gonna make some space now. Now I'll show you how we actually make the Hamantaschen. Now, you know how a lot of Hamantaschen have like a really nice glossy look on top? It's because they brush it with eggs. So I'm actually gonna do that because I actually like the look of that brush look, okay? So give me 1 second, I'm just gonna wash my hands. And then we're going to start with rolling out the really nice cookie dough, okay? Which is our Hamantaschen mix. Give me 1 second, and we are going to start. Okay. Back. Okay, guys. Okay, so I'm just gonna get one of these cups. This is a good size. Can you see that? Okay. So I'm going to be taking a piece of dough. Okay. It's a really good consistency. I'm actually very happy with it. And I'm going to put it on the table and I'm going to roll it out. Okay, so you can make it as thick as you want, but obviously if it's not too, it will rise, so you don't want it to be too thick. But about a centimeter or something. Let's see. Okay.
How many Hamantaschen does this make?
It says that it's supposed to make about, I think about 48. It's supposed to,
So
yeah.
bring some to show tomorrow now.
What?
So bring some to show.
Yeah. So it's supposed to make 48 Hamantaschen, and obviously it really depends on how big you make them. But it's usually like, it's about 48. Okay, so now I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the bit of excess around here, take it out, and actually it's very sticky, which is good. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to take a spoon, okay, and I'm going to put a little teaspoon, and I'm going to put some chocolate spread. Can you see that? So a little bit in the middle, okay, and I'm gonna put, this one's halva spread. Yum, I love halva spread, delicious. This one's a bit of chocolate.
I'm jam.
And I'm going to do jam. And here's jam. This is a really good jam too. It's a really nice strawberry jam. You could get these at Kraus Circle Kingdom. They're really good. And I'm putting a bit of jam. And obviously we don't want to put too much because then it's going to go over. Okay. Are we ready? So let's see how we're going to fold it. So we're making it look like a, can you see that?
Like Haman's
Like
hat.
a hat, like Haman's hat. Okay. This is a bit of a failure, sorry, because it's a bit too sticky for the table. I'm going to do it again. Sorry, guys. Let's go to this one. Okay, one more time. So we're putting it on the top over here. And then we're taking it from the bottom and we are squeezing it. So make sure you squeeze it as much as you can. If you could see, I put a little bit too much, which is fine. But you got to just make sure you pinch it as tight as you can, because what happens is they do open up in the oven. Can you see that? Okay. There we go.
You're going to get that off the counter.
What? I'll show you. Okay. So it is quite sticky for this counter. Probably next time we should do is put a little bit of flour, so it's not too sticky. Okay, so I'm putting up here, and I'm taking the bottom. I'm closing it up. See, it's a bit too much excess of. Here we go. Okay, what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you one more. I'm gonna do.
Yes, he's just asking us a bit to put in the fridge first.
So you can put in the fridge because it does, you're right, like the fridge is probably a good idea. Probably put it in for 20 minutes because then it actually won't be as sticky. But obviously because I'm showing you now, so I'm going to try it again. What I'm going to do this time, I'm going to put flour because if you know it's quite sticky. So I'm going to try it again, okay, guys? I'm going to do it again. This time I'll just roll it with my hand, okay? So I'm going to put it in a round circle and I'll put it down on this side and this side. Can you see that now? It's not so sticky because what happened before is I rolled it out because I didn't put flour on the table, it's stuck. Okay, so I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to show you again and show you how it looks properly. Okay, so just put a little bit. See that? Because you put too much, it's too much excess and it's not going to work well. Okay, let's do it again. So I'm going to show you properly now. So I pinch it in the top and there we go. That's a perfect Hamantaschen. Can you see that? So because I put a bit of flour on the bottom, it didn't stick. See, sometimes it's good to have trial and error. Because I'm going to get my tray. I'll show you a few more. Here's one. And then what we'll do is we will put a bit of that. I'm going to crack one egg. Okay. Make sure it's all good. And I'm going to use an egg. There we go. So I'm going to mix this. And I'm going to use the nice egg wash. And I'll put a little bit onto my Hamantaschen. Don't always see these things, but what's nice about it, it gives it that really nice shine and a really nice golden brown to it. So which is actually quite nice. Okay, I'm going to show you again. So again, I showed you with this because you want to roll it out and make it quite thin, but because it's quite sticky, I'm going to use my hand, okay? So make it a little round bowl. And here we go, put a bit of flour on it, okay? And then I'm going to put a little bit of jam in the middle. Here we go. So it's basically keeping it into the center. Can you see? You put it into the center, and then you squeeze it on the top. And you squeeze it on the bottom. There we go. And it's very important when you squeeze it, you close it quite well, because then again, it's going to open. Can you see that? So I squeezed it really tight. And then what's going to happen inside, it's going to open a bit. But if you don't squeeze it too well, what happens is it opens up and then it doesn't look like Hamantaschen. It looks like like a cookie sort of thing. Okay, so I'm going to do a few more. Okay, see, I'm doing it with my hand and then putting a little bit of flour so it's not too sticky. And I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do the halva one. Get a bit of halva. I'm going to use it a bit thin so we can actually get it out. Okay, so you're doing this much, just a little bit in the middle. You see that? And we're going to make a triangle, which is Haman's hat. There we go. There we go. Ta-da! Put it over here. And then I'll do one last one, and then you guys could make your own. Okay?
You just tell her how long to bake for.
So then we have to bake it for 20 minutes, and then you leave it out to cool for a few minutes before you eat. But if you're me and you eat it right away, might burn your tongue. So it's also a good option. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to do one more time. So a bit of chocolate. I know it seems like we put
Miriam said she also sometimes puts dates and walnuts.
Yeah. So dates and walnuts is a really good one. They actually do that in Israel. It's actually really nice.
Cheryl said it looks wonderful, and Chris said it looks yummy.
Thank you. And also, some people, someone asked me if I knew a prune recipe, and in New York they do the prune one, so that's also really good. But yeah, tradition.
And the fit looks good. That's coming from an expert.
Thank you. Thanks, Fit. Okay, so yeah, there's so many different options. There's as we said, jam, chocolate chips, poppy seed. There's also date syrup. There's so many different options, but this is a really good one. And what's good about this is the consistency is really good. So just make sure when you're making your Hamantaschen, just make sure that you do the eggs and the sugar first, because if you don't do that, what happens is it starts becoming very crummy.
So just confirm everyone, because someone's asking what oven.
Okay, so again, back to the oven. So make sure in the oven that it's 170 fan force or 175 not, and you put in the oven for 20 minutes, okay? So not more than 20 minutes, unless you like it really crispy, but 20 minutes gives you the proper Hamantaschen recipe, and it will come out really nice. And then again, after you make them all, you could brush them with some egg wash, and it gives it that really nice. Here we go. So then I'll just put some egg wash in it. Okay. And I'll take some photos and show you how it came out. But the main thing. What do you say? Oh yeah, if you make your own, not if, when you make your own, because everyone needs to make some. Please send us photos on Facebook, Instagram, text message, whichever way you want. And I'd love to hear from you. So
Basil said we should send some to the shul for breakfast. Oh, it's a fast day.
You can't. Tomorrow's a fast day, so we can't do it for breakfast, but you can have for breaking of the fast.
We'll bring some to break the fast, guys.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining, and wishing you all a Chag Sameach, a Purim Sameach, and we should all be able to go to Jerusalem with Mashiach.
As I go to hear Megillah, the shul.
And if you want to hear Megillah, if we're not in Jerusalem, then tomorrow night at 8:45. 8:40, sorry. Tomorrow night, 8:40 at the shul is going to be Megillah reading. Any more announcements?
In the daytime, there's a few, but let's look at our Facebook.
Okay, and the daytime, there's going to be a few, and look at our Facebook page.
Purim Sameach.
Purim Sameach. Thank you.